Today, I want to tell you about some of the creepiest things that happened to my own family. I'm from a very regular household and there's nothing special about us, but these are 4 stories that no one in our family can explain. Number 1. The abandoned hospital. There are a few abandoned hospitals in the city where I live, but one of them is notorious for being especially creepy. And there were documents found inside about experiments being done on patients, as well as bottled embryos and other unusual things. My cousin enjoys exploring so-called haunted places, so he decided to visit the abandoned hospital one night with his friend. They looked around and ended up finding some very disturbing documents about one patient that appeared to have an incredibly strange case. The man had gone to the hospital with only a broken finger, but for some reason, the doctors decided to put him on 5 different drugs at once. Later in the document, there was a record that the man went insane a few months later and eventually ended up dying in a mental institution of a heart attack at 3:20 a.m. My cousin decided to take this document home to save, but he put it in his bedroom. But that night, he woke up at exactly 3:20 a.m., the same time the man in the document had died. He woke up again at 3:20 a.m. the next day, and the next, and the next. On the 5th day, he decided to burn the documents, and that night he slept soundly, and he never awakened at 3:20 a.m. again. Number 2. Death. My grandfather passed away about a year ago. He was one of the nicest people I had ever known, but as it sometimes happens in this world, there were some people who didn't like him. One of these people was my aunt-in-law, who was always very hostile towards him. Shortly before his death, they got into a huge argument. After his death, she felt sorry about it and wanted to apologize to him, but it was too late. But one night, she and my uncle were sitting on their balcony looking at the stars and talking about this situation. She said how sorry she felt about it, and as soon as she said it, the star she had been looking at started shining intensely bright before immediately burning out. After this, she was overwhelmed with emotion and felt as if he had accepted her apology. Number 3. The mug. My great-grandmother had a white mug. It had been passed down through the family as a gift. Strangely, everyone who inherited the mug got cancer. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, and then my aunt. Well, maybe it's just a coincidence, right? Wrong. We have this wood cabin, which we use for family gatherings, and at the time, the mug was always being kept there. One night, the wood cabin caught on fire for no reason, and when we came back to check it out, there was just a big pile of ashes where the entire cabin had burned to the ground. But guess what? Right on top of the ashes, there was the mug, and it was squeaky clean, like it hadn't even been touched. My aunt grabbed it, and it shattered into pieces. Number 4. Cancer. Or something else? Like I said, everyone who got the mug got cancer, but not everyone's condition was the same. My aunt was in extremely critical condition at the time, and everyone thought she would die soon, and at the same time, my grandmother, who also had cancer, wasn't doing that bad. She was in the hospital, but the doctors had told us she was doing great and that they'd be able to let her out soon. One day, my aunt visited her and they talked about their situations. A couple days after the meeting, my grandmother suddenly died, and the doctors couldn't comprehend it, as all of them thought that she would heal soon. On the other hand, my aunt was cured almost immediately afterward, even though the doctors had previously thought that she didn't have much time left. What could have happened? Did my aunt do something in that room? How did they trade their conditions? I have no idea. We live in a strange world where logic can't always explain everything, and some things are better left unexplained. What do you think could explain these stories? And has anything spooky ever happened to you? If so, share your stories in the comments below, and let's see who has the creepiest one yet.